To complete our foil relief, we're going to take the little plate that we made before, and then today what we're going to do is take a little bit of glue, and we have to make sure that we cover the entire cardboard with glue. Now you really have to make sure everything is covered because we want the foil to be able to stick to it. If you notice, I'm making sure to get really close to my yarn too. If there are spots that you notice that don't get glue, then make sure you go back and you get it as close to that yarn as you can. So I'm gonna go all the way around here, make sure everything's covered because I don't want my foil to come up. All right, and if I'm looking at this, I'm noticing that I didn't quite get close enough to my yarn here. So if that happens, I'm just gonna make sure that I go back and get right up against that yarn because I want the foil to be able to stick all the way around the yarn so we can really see the outline. All right, once we have a lot of glue on there, I'm going to take my piece of foil and I'm gonna leave it shiny side up, but it doesn't matter so much which side you use. And I'm going to press this on top. Now before I wrap it around, I'm gonna use my fingers and really push from inside the little compartments, little parts of it, and go right up against that yarn. I don't want to wrap it first because if I do, I may not be able to get close to my yarn. So I'm going to find especially the little pieces first. Like there's a leg. I know the other leg is right here. This other leg should be right around here. This head should be here. And same thing on this side. I'm going to make sure that I'm really pressing up against it so I can start to see the outline of my turtle here. And then I can start smoothing it down along the edges. So I really want to be able to see that outline. This is a step that I really want to sort of take my time with to make sure that we have a good outline. Because if you don't have a good outline, you won't be able to see your designs too well. So I'm really pressing against the yarn here, making sure not to use my fingernails. Because if I use my fingernails, I might rip this this foil. The foil is also heavy duty, but even though it's heavy duty, it still rips pretty easily. So I'm pressing everywhere. And once I feel like I have a really good outline, that's when I'm going to turn it over and wrap my board. For this, I could also use some glue to sort of keep it in place. If I cover my name, it's really important that I go back later with a permanent marker and that I write my name again, just so we don't mix these up with others. So now I've got a pretty good outline. Again, if I'm noticing any place where I don't see a good outline, I'm gonna make sure to go back over it. All right. So then I'm ready for my next step, which is to put my little texture pieces on it. So every single section will have a different texture. Now for that, I'm going to use a pencil that's dull. This pencil should not be sharp. If you use a sharp pencil, you're going to end up ripping your foil. So what I might do is, I think turtles might look pretty cool if they have sort of a swirl texture going on in the middle. So I'm just going to cover it with swirls. I'm going to press down hard enough that I can see and feel that it's going in, that it's being impressed, the chasing. But I'm not going to press so hard that it's going to rip. So I'm just going to do my best with that. You should really be able to feel it. And I'm going to fill each section with a little bit, and you can see I even ripped it there a tiny bit. And that's okay, it just tells me that I was going a little bit too hard right there. Now when it gets closer to the yarn, that's a place where it rips a little bit more easily, so just be careful with that. So when you get there, you may not want to press as hard as you do in other areas. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and finish that and put textures, a different type of texture in every different section.